Hey everyone, it's Will. I recorded a Will radio this morning, and I did record a video on writing this book on relational interpreters, but I made the standard mistake of when it comes to acknowledgments or giving, the right people credit for an ongoing project or whatever. I left someone's name out, so I'm just going to delete that one. I will be careful in the future. I'm always worried about leaving someone's name out when acknowledging things or thanking people or whatever, and I made that mistake. But in any case, I am writing a book, and I just shared on GitHub this webbird/relational-interpreter-book-and-course. And so the idea is the book and the course goes together. You can find the PDF and the markdown file in terp.pdf and terp.md on the repo, along with the tech file, bibtech file, make file. Now, I have a private repo that I actually am writing against. And at some point, there'll be a code directory here also. But I'm not doing all the pushes and stuff like that in the open. Periodically, I'm just copying files over. That's because if I want to have, private notes, or if I'm, making a bunch of little edits, may not be in a state that I'm ready to share yet. So I think I can work mostly in the open, but I could still have some private state that's hidden. I think that sort of keeps down my anxiety about how many times did I push this week, or how many commits that's not really important. The important thing is making progress on the book. The idea is I'll make videos that talk about the ideas in the book, where we go through the book. The book currently is in a shape that's, more like an outline. We have a preface, and then we have sections on scheme, introduction. It's not really an introduction to scheme, more like a refresher or overview of scheme. And then like an intro to miniKanren, like a whirlwind, very, very quick intro to miniKanren, and then we get into interpreters and start doing the relational interpreter stuff. So the audience is someone who knows programming, who knows functional programming, and knows, something about interpreters, those sorts of things, or at least will catch up very, very quickly with kind of whirlwind introduction. There are lots of resources out there on interpreters and scheme and functional programming. So I'm not trying to reproduce all of that. I'm trying to get the reader as quickly as possible into the state where we can talk about miniKanren and talk about relational interpreters. But if someone, say, knows ML or Haskell or Common Lisp or Clojure, I want to make sure that they can know enough of the scheme where they're not going to get tripped up, and they're going to know enough of the miniKanren. Even maybe if they read the first edition of the Reason Schemer, the faster miniKanren implementation we're using here has some significant differences. So want to make sure that they're up to speed on that. So what I plan to do with my next video is to go through this first chapter, which is enough scheme to get by. And I've got, sort of an outline, like if I were sitting next to a grad student, what would I tell the grad student, and now I can come up with examples, and we can have a transcript and, start filling in some of those details. So we are currently at rough draft 0, a working rough draft 0 of the book. I'm going to have to make several passes through, and I'm hoping that I can use making these videos and going through and, simulating having a conversation with a grad student who wants to know miniKanren and relational interpreters. By doing that, it forces me to actually, come up with the examples and do some writing, and also forces me to try to organize things in such a way that make logical sense, and then do a very crude version of a course, and then can refine that over multiple iterations. So maybe by the third or fourth or fifth time going through this, have something that makes sense and is really worth sharing with people. For this first attempt, I'm just trying to get through the document, get everything structured, get examples in place, get some prose in place. It's not going to be great. That's fine. I can edit. I'm good at editing. I'm not so good with a blank page. So just trying to get through and using these videos and talking to you, the listener. I don't know if there's any listeners or not. That's fine. Doesn't really matter. But what matters is that I make progress here. So the next video will be on the scheme part. I actually went through the preface in the video I just made, but I'm tired of that right now. I want to jump into the technical stuff. The preface has some placeholders there. Preface is actually usually something you write towards the end, not towards the beginning. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time right now talking about the preface, but the basic idea is the book is about relational interpreters and miniKanren. The focus is on that. The focus is not on implementing miniKanren. The focus isn't on teaching programming, and it's not on teaching functional programming. It is on writing interpreters as relations. And so I will go through the book and make videos where I walk through it. And I'll also be writing part of the book. So the idea is I'll have Emacs open. I'll have, a REPL, and I can be typing examples, which I can save. And also I will have the LaTeX open in another part of Emacs. And I'll also have this PDF open so I can, kind of just go through it and start filling things in and hopefully make progress. I've tried writing a number of books, as anyone who's followed along with these videos has known. But this is a book that I really do want to write. I really want to write something on relational interpreters. There isn't a book that exists on this. Right now you have to just read a whole bunch of documents and papers, and they use different versions of miniKanren. It's kind of a mess. There's nothing self-contained. So someone who knows, say, ML or say Haskell or some Common Lisp who wants to pick this up, it's a little bit rough right now. Or if someone's coming from Java but knows the ideas of functional programming, it's not real accessible. So I want to do a better job of that. And also, tie in some future work, open problems, and get the reader up on techniques that seem important and useful for relational interpreters. And that's up to the point where they could start reading the research literature and, work on pushing the state of the art if they wanted to. So that's what we're going to be doing next. So I do have that repo. Like I said, I'm not going to be pushing to it directly as I write, but when I make the videos, for sure, I'll push an updated version. So I've got the Markdown version, the PDF, and the LaTeX version. Right now, all the LaTeX in one file. That probably will change at some point, but right now it's fine. The book is under Creative Commons. The code will be under an MIT license. Creative Commons CC BY 4.0 is the license for the book. And I hope to do a little bit of writing every day. Maybe not every day, but most days at least write a little bit, and just try to make progress. As a book I've had in me a long time, and I'm just going to try to avoid self-censorship and trying to write something super polished in the first draft. I just want to get through a rough draft, and it'll be rough, and I'll be okay with prose that's not perfect and typesetting that's not perfect. Just going to try to keep it simple and get through it, and then go through another round and just refine it that way. So I'm semi working in the open. I'm not showing every push and all that, but the PDF and the LaTeX is on GitHub. I don't have any comments in the LaTeX. I'm going to try to keep that clean of comments. But yeah, and you should be able to just run make if you have a LaTeX installed and a Pandoc installed on your computer. You should just be able to run make and make the PDF and the markdown if you are so inclined. All right, next time up we'll be going through Scheme, and also I'll be putting up some code here. We'll be using Scheme and Racket as the languages for this. Obviously, there are people doing OCaml work with miniKanren, Uncourse, and there's also core.logic and Clojure. But just in the interest of sticking to what I know best, and in the interest of trying to get something done and get a first draft done, we're going to stick to Scheme and Racket, which are the languages that I know best and for which the original miniKanren literature uses those and continues. Much of the work in miniKanren continues to be in those two languages. Okay, well, see you next time, and we will dive into Scheme, and I will talk to you as if you were a grad student, but we'll also be working on the draft of the book as we go. So if I need to add something, I'll just go ahead and add it. So like I said, it'll be kind of rough the first time through, but maybe that's interesting kind of in its own way to see the book come together. And hopefully this time it will come together more readily than in the past. I do think I'm trying to avoid getting stuck in the ways I've gotten stuck in the past, and by making these videos and doing sort of the outline form and explaining it to people, sort of doing it like a classroom or small tutoring session. Hopefully that will be a way to make forward progress. Well, we'll see. All right, thanks. Talk to you soon.